Hari Lal ki jai. Sit down, everybody, as we get set to enter into our next session. This is our 17th session of Bhagavad. Let me invite everybody to please stand as we begin with Arti. What are you doing? How on? All right, everybody, we gotta wait for them. Have a little seat a little bit. Put all your hands together whilst we say a little prayer for the benefit of us who are going to be here for this reading. Hari Om. This is a prayer that is chanted on a day like today, the Tithi. This is when people have different forms of distress caused by different planets. A person prays using this kavach to get alleviation of trouble. It is praying for peace. Peace is a word we sometimes summarize, but it's only when you lose the peacefulness that comes with a good night's rest, to eat something you enjoy, to spend time with people you love, and that is no longer an option. When you cannot eat pepper again, or you can't sleep because I'm so nervous, I'm agitated by the possibility of bandit, for example, then you appreciate the peace and peacefulness you had. This prayer is asking for that peace to come back when you've lost it. Granam aditya adilok rakshan karkaha vishan santan sambhutanam ped hartu me ravim rohini ascha sudhamurti sudagatra sudha akshana visham santana sambhutanam ped hartu me vibhom Bhumi putro Mahateja Jagatambe Krita Sada Vashti Krita Vashti Harta Cha Hartu Me Kujoh Utapat Rupam Jagatam Chandra Putro Mahadyutim Surya Putro Priyankaro Vidvan Shripeda Hartu Me Bodh Deva mantra Vishalakshala Saralok. Take that with you. And you do the puja for the other Babas. Deva mantra Gurustesham Pranadasha Mahamati Prabhum Tara Grahanacha Peda Hartu Me Brigum Surya Putro Dirga Deho Vishalakshala Shiva Priya Mandacharaha pranashnam atma peda hartu me shani Mahasharir mahavaktro dirgato dhanstro mahabalaha antush dvija keshascha peda hartu me shikayat Aneka rupam varnascha shatasho artha sahasrasha Utapam rupam jagatam peda hartu me hartu he ketam. When a person's life, the translation of the last verse, when a person's life is filled with distress, misery, the memory of hurt and abuse and any type of bad occurrence, and the person is trying to get relief from the bad that they are currently experiencing, the possibility of future persecution. Thank you. The possibility of future persecution, or they are haunted by the memory of past persecution, abuse, attack, defamation, or any type of wrongful abuse, wrongful accusation, any type of abuse whether in the past, the present, or the future, the person utilizes prayer like this to overcome, internally overcome, externally overcome. When the enemy is outside your body, we have many examples of good fighting bad. But prayer like this is when the enemy is inside your body. Imagine yourself trying to sleep and you hear crick and crack by your gate or your window and you're wondering, sit down, is the enemy coming for me now? Many people will say, I understand what you're going through. You'll get better just now. You overcome that loss just now. But internally, just as we are talking about how prayer works from our past episode, in this prayer on a day like today, you are asking God, activate that healing, activate that help when there's a battle internally. And if, in my example, if it is just to sleep, to have the confidence, the healing, to forget. For the person who went through, regardless the cause, the court, a rape case, a threat from an external party, different things haunt people. When in the marriage there is cheating, haunt a person. Don't let that occurrence change who I am. Don't make me into a monster, but take care of that hurt, past, present, future. Principle of Indra Vandi Hadilala Ki Jai. Like they're ready now. Everybody, let's all stand again. Put your hands together. As we get ready to do our little arati, we ask God for His choices, blessings. Thank you for the permission to be in a circle of good. Please allow me, by listening to this prayer, the message of God, allow that goodness to manifest in my life. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam Deepam grihana devesham Trailokyatimidapaham Jai Jai Bhagavat Bhagavan Ki Hai Aarati
Papiyon ko paap se taarati Jai Jai Bhagavat Bhagavan Ki Hai Aarati Papiyon ko paap taarati
Ye Amar Grandha Ye Mukti Panta Ye Pancham Veda Nirala Nav Jyoti Jagane Wala
Ye Amar Grantha Ye Mukti Panta Ye Pancham Veda Nirala Nav Jyoti Jagane Wala
Hari Gyan Yahi Vardhan Yahi
Hari Gyan Yahi Vardhan Yahi
जग की मंगल पे आरती
पापियों को पाप से तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की
है आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत शापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला
है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी
है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी
ये मधुसूदन के आरती
पापियों को पाप से तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला
ये मधुर बोल जग पंथ कोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
प्रभु की महिमा के आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती Let's pray together, everybody. Om Gajananam Bhutaganaधिसेवितं कपेत जम्बो
पञ्चारमक्षितम् उमासुतं शो
कविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर
पादपङ्कजम्
सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये
शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके
शरण्ये
त्र्यम्बिके गौरी
नारायणी
नमोस्तुते
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा
गुरुर्विष्णु
गुरुर्देवो
महेश्वरा
गुरुर्साक्षात्
परं ब्रह्मा
तस्मै श्री
गुरुवे नमः
ॐ नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय
Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Everybody, please have your seat. Make yourself comfortable. In our last session, we discussed a person that wanted to be a false prophet, somebody that told Krishna, you better stop calling yourself Vasudeva, you know. I am the true Vasudeva. I am the true incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And it highlighted in a summary how in this age of Kali, you might hear more about God, but if you are not cautious, you may be led down a different path as you would be distracted by different people claiming to be godly, but they would be a false prophet. If you look at the world today, we live in a time, whether in this religion or in other religions, people persecute, people starve, people harm, people damn people in the name of God. There is religion that says, I have medical supply, I have school supply, but only if you pray like me will I help you. But the person claims that I understand the working of God. As a Sanatanist, we don't think like that. There is no, we highlighted the fact that there is no conversion in Hinduism. You are born in this way, in this mentality. When you look at your pictures, you see animal, you see plants, you see a hybrid of things that we do not see, do not know about. Meaning to say there could be more than what me and you know. God does not only look like you and I, and that is all God is, but God could be more than. So the person is in a place where you're left to understand that God is so big. We said God is 100% and I'm 1%. Whilst I am part of God's creation, I am not identifying, bow to my foot, I am God. We spoke at length about how pundits and gurus, because of their knowledge, the night before we had talked about how do you worship and whether you call guru mother and father, the school teacher, the spiritual guru, you have respect for them. The person who give you diksha or the mantra in your ears, you don't bad talk these people. We spoke about that. But then within the pundit or the priest, you have to know yourself. And you don't get it in your head that I am the God. Your job is to guide people to God. And in a humble way, you divulge the truth. And you don't pollute what you're teaching with your opinion. Whilst you could use an analogy or something to teach, to explain it to a lesser, let's say a child, it doesn't mean that you as the human have the answers to these problems. In this discourse, the man became so power hungry. He wanted that adoration. He wanted that amount of favor that he starts to say, I am the God. I have the emblem of God. And he goes as far as to tell Lord Krishna, you stop using the sank and stop using your bow and all your weapons. Those are mine. And Lord Krishna, without any hesitation or prejudice, destroys the person. Because, and he says, my job was to come here upon the earth to remove unrighteousness, to bring back balance in the circuit. But when you think unrighteousness only looks, like in the movie we just see them laughing, ha ha ha, and looking like a rakshas, you have to understand that it could also be people who promoting prayers too, If we use our current affairs and our historical data, how do you man name? Jim Jones? Jim Jones was a prophet for many. There are many people that tell you dance with snakes, and if you believe in God, those snakes won't bite you. Different religion, those things still exist. For COVID, you had from pundits to priests to different people saying if you believe in God, you would never wear a mask. You wouldn't try to protect your health or your body. Believe in God, and that's enough. You see it in subtle ways, and then you see it in big ways. Where people claim we are testing your faith, but there's a line, a thin, very thin line between being foolish and being faithful. Garud Puran is one of the places you hear about how this body is a blessing. Because you could do so much good with this body, with these two hands. But if you squander your body, if you squander your health, if you drink poison, if you dance to the tune of addiction, etc., and you throw away this body, it is equivalent to being negligent with gold. Somebody gives you a great gift, and you just treat it any old how. You have to account for that. When a person, yes, you are faithful, but our job, our belief is that you do what you must to secure your body. This body is an opportunity for me to do good, seva, charity, worship, etc. With this two hands, I could do so much. Then I do what I have to do. It's if it is take a vitamin, if it is blood transfusion, do tests, surgery. We have no problem with those things. There are people in this world that subscribe to different religion that if you are dying, God wish me to die in this moment. No blood, no surgery, no, bypass. They have it on bracelets that I am not to be resuscitated. That is unnatural. Those things exist. But as a Sanatanist, we do not subscribe to that. So long as the therapy, whether it is stem cell therapy, surgery, whatever method that is naturally and legally done, because it is how all kind of back shops and crazy things in the world happening legally because we follow the law of the land. The Sanatanists, engages in therapy or any type of treatment to prolong the body, to save the person's body. And that is permitted. In other religion that is not yours, they have a problem with blood transfusion and organ transplant and surgeries. In that religion, if you get cataract, remain blind. For children to understand. That is not what God wanted from you. But your Dharma does not have that. So in this chapter that we were talking about, it shows just as how we as Hindu people, and I was using some examples such as when people used to flower the floor where the dead person, and they used to see a footprint, a cockroach print or whatever. And the same Hindu people is to say, well, all the prayers you're doing, all of that past, the man done born back, passed through the mummy, and born in the room with 1 foot, and leave a horse footprint or a cow footprint or whatever it is. My daddy done born back as a 1-footed horse. Hindu people believed in that. Today we might laugh at it or laugh at taking down curtain when somebody passed away. But in those days, that was not a joke. That was religious rule. And what made the difference, Hindus learned, I want to say relearned their Dharma. Soon, you see the idea of blowing out diya and blowing out candle and all that, that will be our next one on the chopping block. I don't blow out diya light. Why am I blowing out? In my prayers, Baba sing bad, sing bad. Time to blow out the candle. As people did have, when you Google stuff, you learn where did blowing out the candle come from. We believe in lighting the light. That belongs to other people. But you know how the Hindu is? The people up the road do it, so we go in and do it too. Baba, I see that man do that. You know? But as the information is coming to you and you absorb it, it guides how you do. And these are just a couple of examples. From today, somebody will say, you know what? Baba really talk about blowing out candle, and you don't want your spit to contaminate the light. Lighting a candle, lighting an diya, same light. All is Lakshmi. I'm a Hindu. I believe in this thing. I am not going to do that. Then the satsang work because it guides your next step. What you don't do, you do. I didn't know better. But from today, I'm not going to make this mistake. If I stand for something, if this Dharma is what I believe in, then I'm going to do it the little steps. I'm not talking about, there are people, for example, I don't know if it happened. I know I made the mistake in my time, and I confess this. I know when I was small, I'm going satsang and same Seva sang temple. You're eating beef. Anybody here does eat beef? No, Babs, you don't touch that. Good. How much are they wearing leather slippers when you're going in the same satsang and the prayers? I remember when we were small, somehow drag slippers was the satsang slippers. I don't know where it come from, but the leather slippers, we used to wear it. But then as you grow up and you hear elders saying, hello, you're going to offer, but you're wearing leather belt. Well, now we have fake leather and all kind of different things. But the genuine leather, the Hindu has to know what is to be worn, what is not to be worn, what is to be eaten, what is not to be eaten. And those little steps make a big difference in your life. Otherwise, what we're doing is we eating what we want, wearing what we want, doing what we want. We criticize each other. We don't look at what we do, but we can talk about what she do or he do, if you follow me. And it just revolving perpetually. Everybody makes this mistake, make that mistake. Everybody do what they want, and the quality of your prayer is slowly dropping. The quality of your life is slowly going down. All the jag, every Baba on TV, radio program from 4 o'clock in the morning now. In the times that we grandparents, it didn't have so much spiritual support, in all fairness. But now we have more trouble, we have more prayers, more pundit, and we have more trouble. Kind of work, kind of counterproductive. So at some point, you have to sit down and really just analyze yourself. And this is what this chapter was about. It's a funny chapter to read, it's difficult. Because to explain it properly, the person hears this and hears that and could get twisted in terms of what it's really trying to tell you. Sometimes you look for the demon inside and where you could buck up and bring that equilibrium that you're looking for. Let's continue as we enter into this section. Let's do Sumerian before we go forward, as another pastime of Lord Krishna is about to be discussed. Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sadhana Vadana Vadana Sumiro Barambar Madana Kadana Kelalako Ganapati Kripa Nidan Jnana Kani Ananda Bhavana Dehu Mohi Vadadan Parano Bhasha Bhagavatam Jai Shivananda Kanda Bhutanata Bhaubhaya Harana Bhakti Vishaya Nirvan Pauravadana Mangala Karana Jai 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 Jagadisha Sevata Shesha Mahesha Jam Mahima Amita Abheva Veda Veda Janata Rahe Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sadhana Vadana Vadana Sumiro Barambar Madana Kadana Kelalako Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Whenever we do discourses on Krishna, it seems a little confusing when you hear different snapshots about who Lord Krishna is. For example, in the early part of his life, he doesn't wear a crown. He's a cow herder. He tends to animals, milks cow, collects gobar, shares cow urine, etc. Things that are used in prayer. When Kans is inviting Krishna to come and do the battle where eventually Kans is killed, they are actually coming to deliver all the ghee and all the milk and dahi for the yagya that Kans was currently engaged in. So when you hear of the Katha around the time, let's say when Arjuna and Krishna on the copy of the Bhagavad Gita, around this seniority or this maturity of him, he is described, he's never described as a king. He's described as an emperor. And that emperor word means he's in charge of many kings. The kings work for him. Raja Parikshit, the person who is listening to Bhagavad, this whole text is just a godfather talking to a godson about God and his work. In this chapter, in this section, it is fixated on Lord Krishna, but in different places, in different parts of the book, it have different forms of Lord Vishnu. In doing so, Raja Parikshit says, could you tell me how it is that Lord Krishna, who was just a cow herder, became an emperor? I understand all the weapons he had. I understand he develops a family, he gets married, he has sons, he has daughters. Then he had grandchildren. For the person who, yes, I worship Krishna, but you know what? I realized in our Bhagavad, that's so much that I didn't know about this person, but I worship him. And in your Gita, it tells you, in order for a person to have a faith, you have to know what you believe in. You live in a time where you are constantly bombarded. It happens a lot in Trinidad, where other faith attacks your religion. And the reason why they are successful in creating doubt in the heart and mind of young people, elders alike, is because of the level of ignorance and lack of information that we have about our own Dharma. From that perspective, understand the question that is being asked: how did he get all of this power and potency? How did he inherit all of these people to support him and promote him to this senior position? How could you explain that to me? Let's hear what happens in these sloka as we enter into chapter 69 of the 10th Skandha of Bhagavad Purana. Shiva Om, Shakti Om, Hari Om, Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Tishta Manas Dwarakapuri Narad Suvishwasitam Yatayo Savita Ved Prabhu Darshanayena Satvasat. Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
At one point, Narad Muni wanted to come and see what the normal householder life, now that he had children and family and all these things, what did it look like with Lord Krishna? And when he went into the city of Dwarka, the home of Lord Krishna, it was so magnificent and so vast, this city of Dwarka. But to his amazement, and the last place he saw this was in Vrindavan with the Ras Leela Parikshit, he saw in this place Krishna was holding a baby, walking. In that house, he saw that he was talking to Rukmini. In this place, he was picking flowers with Sakyabhama. And like that, imagine a person who is journeying in through a place, looking at the different forms God took to do his duty. Parikshit understand that in this life, in the same way, you are surrounded by different forms because everything is made by the energy of God. We are surrounded by forms of God, divinity in different ways with different skin color, height, girth, you name it, all divine. But it takes a special person to see the good and the God inside of those forms. Many people put titles, put labels, put judgments, and internally on those hated things, those things that are ridiculed, those things that are subject to the worst of society, is even there some form of God. But not everybody is able to see it. Narad Muni, because of who he is and how he thinks and how he prays, in this moment, God is showing him the reality that this whole city is just riddled with different forms of that same Krishna. Drishti tvam padaye yagukul jata purva brahmadi mahadi vichaya ye madhya svayadi yadunannate Narayanaya Krishnaya Narad Muni was as if it were me and you, maybe when we get a little bit of knowledge, we start to boast about what we know. We start to boast about what we've done. You know, Pandit, I'm a great devotee of Lord Ganesha. Whenever there's a Ganesh Chaut, I don't miss it. Pandit, I go to temple every Sunday. Pandit, I always have my white urni for my prayer. You name it, we find a way to boast about it. We find something. But in this illustration, where the man who is rubbing Lord Vishnu's foot every day, this man lives in heaven. He's the son of Brahma. He could come and go wherever he wants. He's free and very powerful because of his abilities he is still in shock, quiet, mentally quiet, to see the Leela of God, to recognize what God is doing. And in this humble state, dear God, I still don't understand your work. I don't understand how you just make this whole thing work. How you find the time to make the corn, as you were saying, the God line. Everything has a symmetry in it. The flowers equal petal this side, equal petal that side. When the girl pregnant and you see the line on the belly come straight down her body. How God does know how me and you can make a roti equal. If you follow me, we cannot make it perfect circle. But now, without physically touching something, equal displacement. Go to Rab Nara and you'll see the space between this nipple and that nipple to the navel equal. It is possible. How God could do that? Narad Muni, in that example, that's just an example, he finds awe. He finds it to be awesome to see how God could do his work. And every time he saw the flowers, every time he saw the mango, every time he saw the person, girl, man, baby, he saw God's work. He saw God's hand at work. And he felt humbled with it because he know he can't do it. What am I going to boast about? What I cannot do? When he went to this Krsna and he went to that Krsna, he couldn't help but he would bow and say pranam to each one. And each time he met one, each version, each one is coming up to him, Muni, when you reach, as if they did not meet before. But I just meet you out there. I just meet you down there. I just meet you up there. You forget? I don't know. I now seen him. As if it was Leela playing some game. But the devotee of God is put on a road, O Parikshit, that is dragged. And sometime on this road, you learn things about God that you could not conceive or think was possible on your own. Bhojan yena dvijayapi yapi bhajana yeshishtam Yagnas nam sitam Chapayan Brahman Vamaha Narayanaya
Krishnaya Paramatma Namo Namah Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatma Namo Namah.
He spent a long time. Time was running. But for this person, imagine you're going from one spot to another spot. You put him getting tired because we're going to see next. How is he doing this? The sun was going down and now he saw Krishna eating as if it didn't have tomorrow. Food. And he's calling for more food. And then he walked up further and he heard a Krishna in that moment saying, cannot eat until he finishes Gayatri Jap. This one is waiting for the Sandhya hour to pass. Narad Muni was confused at the work of God. If a person in this life becomes so arrogant that they know God, they are God, in our previous talk, are God, but in this case, some people, it is as if they become full. They know God. They have nothing else to know. I know it. I know everything. I know how he works. That person actually does not know God. The person who is willing to admit that I'm still learning, I am still able to see the magnificence of God, that person is on the right track. O Parikshit, this is a main feature. That hunger is a main feature of a person that is on the right track in devotion. If you are willing to say to yourself, I really know much of it, and in a humble tone, accept that in the eyes of the God, I am small, and you keep to that humility, you're on the right road. Narad Muni from time to time becomes arrogant, but learns the lessons of humility. And for that reason, is allow moments like this. Vyapi dharma sevanam martya karmo ye chatra yatvijameva snena purusha prakriti paramaye yatham Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah
Paramatmaya Namo Namah Paramatmaya Namo Namah Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. When he reached, let's say, the back wall, he walked the length of the city. Remember, this fortress is made in such a way that if anybody tried to attack, they couldn't mount the walls. So Krishna walked to the end of the property, huge, 96 miles in length. And Narad Muni saw Krishna walking with him in different forms, doing different things. Throughout the day, he spent the day with Krishna, as it were. And he feels as if he's more confused. When you think you know and you understand God, he shows you some miracle, some work, and you're left wondering, how did that just happen? And with that type of interest, wonder, the person is able and allowed, regardless to their status, financial, health, whatever you have, you are still able and afforded humility even at a senior age too. There still has a way, God still has a way to allow the person to evolve, but evolve, grow up, grow older, grow into money, but you could still be humble. Narad Muni met the last Christian that he saw. After that was wall. And he says, Prabhu, it is incomprehensible for me to describe your Maya being a fancy word for this type of where he's here, there, everywhere, he's creating things, and it is as if he's doing it just for Narad's benefit. He says, I cannot understand your work. I don't know the limit to what you can do and you cannot do. With my limited mind, I am blown away by just the idea of what I just saw. Thank you for showing me this miracle. Thank you for revealing it to me. I'm sure not everybody has this type of experience. And because you saw it fit to share it with me, and that drishti or that divine vision of seeing you, how you work, not everybody has that divinity or ability to see you. Thank you very much for that. Krishna says, Muni, I don't know what you are talking about. I've been toiling here, doing the job, whatever you found him doing. I've been toiling here for some time. But whatever you have seen, maybe the divinity wanted you to see it. And he leaves him in a quandary, never agrees what he did see is real. He says, by the way, what brings you to Dwarka? How come I, Krishna, is so lucky to have you, my guest, come here? He says, I want to inform you about the Pandavas. The Pandavas are planning to do something called Rajsuya Yagya. They want to conquer all the place and let Yudhishthira be the king of kings. They want to let him be the main king. And they continue to talk about what is this prayer, how does this prayer work. And when one person is the supreme king, the logic is there's less fighting. If everybody is on one side, under one banner, then there's less likelihood of tribal war, little feuds that lead to the death of innocent people. So Yudhishthira wanted to allow everybody to live in peace. And the only way is if everybody is on one side of the battlefield. So if we are all together, there is no fight, there is nobody. Krishna explains to Nara the benefit in everybody working together. So he allows Nara to stay in the palace, treats him quite well as a guest, setting the standard and precedent that your guest is your God, and your God, we invite him on the baby, please come and make sweet rice, I have this, I have that, I have the other. Please accept it humbly. But Lord Krishna always show that regardless of who is at the door, in the next episode I'm doing Sudama Katha. You could be poor, you could be rich, you could be what title, the same hospitality is afforded to you in Sanatana Dharma. So maybe the person is different and maybe they don't have the time, maybe they're in a different circumstance or a different place and they can't do prayer like me and you. But they are the type, when you reach by my house, partner, you cannot go without eating. Understand that that is equivalent to your prayers. That is why in all our prayers, Gita says it, no prayer is complete until something is shared, some hospitality, whether it's a little bit of food or plenty food. But always bring that sentiment of happiness and joy in the person. By doing that, then your prayer complete. There are people love to pote sinduran, you know it. Put press. But they cannot live a good way with neighbors, family, friends, nobody. The person has to win at life and not only at puja. Puja is good when done correct. You cannot be a monster, an animal that does not see the divinity in people. You have no sense of humility. You have no compassion with them. But you walk, God bless you. Then you become Ravan. Then you become Kans. They all knew the mantras. They got a lot of blessing. But then wanted to use the power to go and fight. And that is what caused the corruption and the downfall. God made everybody. Vindravan Bihari Ki Jai. In the rising of the sun on the next morning, they head to Sudharma, the court, the hall, where matters are adjudicated by Krishna. A stranger comes in the line of people that want to have their matters heard in court. And one by one, everybody gets a chance to say this is their grievance, this is their trouble, this is what's happening. When the stranger came, he announced that he has come as an emissary, as a messenger, on behalf of some people who are struggling in jail. So the minister says people like that, meaning criminal people, people who've done bad and are now locked up in somebody's jail, have no right or authority to speak in a court like this. Christian says, wait, let me hear just what it is this person came to say. Let's hear what happens as this person comes to beg. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
Namaskritva Krishna Parameshwa Krita Jalaniragyameva Madhusudhana Jaraye Sindhu Shwalaye Dvijaye Tasya Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam.
Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam.
Jaya
Samba
Samba
Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Vindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. The person says, I come on behalf of the trapped kings, many politicians that are in the jail, the dungeon of Jarasandha. We've been talking about this character, Jarasandha. He's the father-in-law of the guy called Kans. If Kans is the Mamu of Lord Krishna, the bad guy, this is his father-in-law. Jarasandha is the person who attacked, who had caused Krishna to build Dwarka. He is somebody who has been shamed, embarrassed 18 times. He attacked Dwarka and 18 times Krishna beat him. And Krishna was trying to let this man live. He does say in a previous chapter, you just lost your son-in-law who you considered like a son. And you are grieving and you're blaming me for ending him. But remember, for so long as I have been alive, he has been trying to kill me. This is self-defense. If he was not so unrighteous, he would have been alive today. But he continues to jail my parents. And even when giving him signs and opportunities to let them go and to live in peace, he never wanted to live in peace. So Jarasandha takes it as a personal vendetta now. He wants to kill the person who damns his son-in-law. When the 18 opportunities, the 18 wars were finished, they give Jarasandha a break. They'll push him out and they'll leave him out. And in that way, he takes the time plotting revenge, and he does prayer, and he's praying with different ingredients in the prayer. That the blade, as I mentioned, using Mohana type of mantras to invocate the goddess on the edge of the blade. If you've ever seen people pray with cutlass and knives in prayer, you know about it. Have you ever done a blade prayer? No? You sure, Auntie Rose? You ever went wedding and see the kangan with the little blade on the edge? It is reminiscent of bigger blades. When they buy clothes in Trinidad now, you just get a little sword thing. The purpose of the sword is you are calling a goddess to sit. That if enmity, any type of attack, any type of some form of negative, it could be spiritual as well. Simple language, Bada in Nazar Malju, ward off this type of enemy. So in other parts of the world, it's not placed here, in all fairness. It is on the waist. But we wouldn't walk around with a big sword on the waist. Except for some Dolaha. I was guilty of that idea. I got a sword, I posing with my sword and all kind of craziness. He did prayer whilst freed from the fight and the gaze of Krishna. He did not take the time to heal from the abuse of the trauma of losing his son-in-law. He had 2 daughters. They got married to cunts, and instead of healing, he let it build up as revenge. And every day he plot. He went to do prayers. He did a lot of prayers, but he's only praying, give me the strength to kill him. Give me the strength to kill them. Bless me to kill his children. Bless me to rob his grandchildren. And this was all he was doing. He says, in doing it, O King, O Krishna, he attacked many villages, many village head, many smaller kings, and started to take by force their soldiers, their armaments, their ramparts, their city, their gold, etc., as he's amassing forces to come for you. All these little districts and kings that were now jailed, thousands in captivity, they have been treated poorly. They are not accustomed to the circumstances that they are in. They are innocent. They had no part to play in either side, your side or in Jarasandha's side. But in this sufferation where they are now left, their city is overrun by Jarasandha and his people, but they are being left for days without food. They're suffering in the jail. Please show them mercy and free them. They want your protection. They are constantly in fear of death as they are taunted every day by the soldiers that hold them captive in the name of Jarasandha. We are the kings told me to tell you, we are very miserable. And at some point, O Lord of mercy, please hear our prayer. We are imprisoned and we are suffering. And Jarasandha is unbearable. Let's hear what happens in the next slok. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
Narayanaya Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
Raja Dute Brahmanyate Deva Deva Param Beauty Nara Panda Jata Bharna Pandu Ye Sita Ye Yati
Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
He discussed what this person was telling him. Narad Muni was right there. And he says, you have to go close to Yudhishthira. He's planning this yagya. On your way, you will be passing close to Jarasandha's city. Maybe when you are passing there, you could look in on those kings and help them as best as you could, O Krishna. Tvam he na param chakshutam hridaye matraye vatah tatra branute shrunuyam kavivar ye tat paryate yati.
Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah.
Narad Muni says, we must construct a plan though. If you intend to go and attack Jarasandha, speak to all your advisors, O Krishna, and find out before you underestimate your enemy. You have been fighting this man for so many years, and this person seems as if it is a never-ending supply of hate, but you have not conquered him not once. Be careful. Krishna turns to his advisor, his friend, and he says, oh Yudhava, you are the best advisor I have. Tell me, how can I win this person? He says, what you have to understand, Jarasandha's mother Jara was a great black magic practitioner. She knows a lot of prayers, and she taught her son pray that different black magic, I'm saying black magic for children, tamasic type of prayer could be done to protect the son when he's fighting. If you think it is going to be a straightforward fight, if you allow him to amass forces, you will always lose. He uses prayer to protect his soldiers. But if you engage him in a one-to-one battle, he will be so engaged in the fight, he will not get a chance to pronounce or elucidate a mantra. He will be engaged constantly, and he will not get a chance to do Havan. He will not get a chance to Jagavi mantra. He will not get to invocate any Devi or Yogini to bring about detriment on the battlefield. For this reason, I think what you should do, take Bhim, take Arjun and yourself when you reach where Yudhishthira is, and dress up like Pandit, dress up like Brahman, and go to him. He loves to give dan. He's a praying man. As misguided and as traumatic as he is, as cruel as he is, he harms innocent life. They rape women, they kill children, they throw away children that are specially abled, etc. Ethnic cleansing and Genetic cleansing. If a child has a deformity, that is enough. Kill that child. We don't want that genes being traveled over, passed over to the next generation. But worship the unseen God. This is how he is. Go to him in the garb of a priest and beg him and ask him. And what you ask him for when he's doing prayer, he will definitely give it to you. In that case, when you get him into that gift-giving momentum in that time, ask him to fight one-on-one. That, oh, you are so great. Placate him, patronize him, mama guy him, and tell him you want to fight him one-on-one. Not three of you, one person, and allow Beam to fight him. Beam has the Vardhan to have strength that is unparalleled. And if you allow Beam to fight, then you might stand a chance, because this person is truly powerful. Let's hear what happens. इति युद्ध वचो हे राजन सर्वा तीरथ हे प्रहुन प्रभुवन हे देव श्री वृद्ध बुद्धि कृष्णा ते
नारायणाय कृष्णाय परमात्माय नमो नमः
नारायणाय कृष्णाय नारायणाय कृष्णाय परमात्माय नमो नमः. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Narad says, you are the person called Mukunda. In our discourse last night, we heard that he is the one that caused the lizard to give up the physical form. And that lizard, the soul that was trapped in that body, describes him as Mukunda. For the person who has heard bhajan where the name Mukunda is used, or in mantras, sometimes, look at yourself, if somebody says, well, auntie, I don't know about prayers, you know about prayers. What Mukunda mean? When you call him that, what that mean? Just as how we knew Govind means the person who has the ability to protect cow, protect Vedic knowledge. He's the person when people are trying to attack you, belittle you, falsely accuse you, falsely imprison you, trap you. That prayer, doing Govind prayer, allows the person to come out of that. So till today, in a practical sense, people do a lot of Govind Havan and reading from texts that deal with it, such as Govindam, when they have court matters, when they are fighting a battle, and it seems as if somebody is trying to persecute. I'm sure you've heard about somebody, maybe in a divorce scenario, they're fighting over something, or brother and sister fighting over a property, and as one court matter closed, the person goes back to the court and pulls up the person. And it's like an endless, ongoing battle. You take the name Govind or his prayer and you use it, and the same person that was apparently unable to stop their viciousness, somehow that calms down and you're able to come out of that scenario. Likewise, when dealing with somebody like this, Mukunda is a name that we use in the Antishti Sanskar, in mantra, regardless to how the person died. Imagine if you live a full life, 75 years, and life comes out of the body. Sometime while when you reach that age, because of ailments, maybe how the family life turned out, when the life leave the body, they're ready for God. But suppose is a 16-year-old person that did not get married, didn't have children, so much still to do. In marriage, in wedding, funerals like that, the funeral is a little different because the soul doesn't want to move. The soul thinks, I didn't get to do this, I didn't get to have a home, I didn't get to finish my studies. I'm not ready to leave, I'm not ready to go. So in those types of funeral, accidental death or sickness related, you have to do the Mukunda Stotra or the path, and you're begging him, You help, you hold this hand and pull this soul to where it has to go. Bring peace in this family. If left unabated, accidental death, the people, the living family, they see a lot of things and hear a lot of things in that house. They see a lot of trouble. People who are pregnant in the family see a lot of trouble. And one of the constant problem is that if it's miscarriage, if it's death of a baby subsequent to such a death, death comes in different forms. So the who die, it is unfortunate. But we must close it off properly before that cause more death to happen. Not only in the Panchak Shanti, the Panchak Shanti part, we know the funeral day piece with it is make the little dolly. That is the beginning of that. But in Panchak Shanti, you have to do 14 form of Yamraj prayer. Please remember the stupid Pandit telling earlier. Yeah, you do the part on the funeral day, but you start the prayer. Look, you want to carry other dead, other people in Panchak, you're supposed to bury. Hindu is supposed to bury. If you burn, what's the problem? You could take 5 other people subsequent death. And this should be common knowledge for everybody. So on that day, the person makes little dolls fashioned with kush grass, flowers. Some people make different material depending on what they have available. But that doll, I've done funeral where they couldn't get kush grass and the people, it was a little child, and they put 5 of the Barbie dolls. That is what they had. And they use it, you know, chirenting now. But they tied around the waist a little piece of kush grass. Fashioning a form. Look, you had to carry 5. Look, doll, carry it. But don't take nobody else. But in the closing part of that ceremony, on the Bedi, when you're doing the Matrika Puja, and where it is called the Gita part, in that Gita part, it has some parts there that we really don't think about. People say Gita part, thinking Christian Puja. Krishna is in charge of the soul. So I'm giving charity and I'm giving dan. Let the person have easy. So they just give, for example, one thing, a slipper. There's a section in Put where the person, depending if they take the foot and kick animals, harm animals, cruel to animals, they will have to walk on grass that is like needles or a hot surface. So the person is giving charity and saying, please, I give this on behalf of my deceased. If they made mistakes in their life and they have to face that kind of experience, please, I'm giving some foot protection. Bless them to have it where they are going. This is done in their name. So that's the Christian part. But there are 16 forms of Durga that is worshipped on that same Bedi. Bless the living. Nothing to do with the deceased now. That part finished. Bless this home to go back to purity and allow them to live, allow them to be stable, allow if babies are coming, bless the babies to be good. In that Bedi, when it's Panchak, you have 14 forms of the god of death that you worship and say, do not touch other person in this family. If that closing part of the Panchak Shanti is not done, the prayer is considered halfway or incomplete. It is not closed off. When you invocate in any prayer, it has to have a point where you close the prayer. Because after that bandara is finished or the shroud is finished, you're going to break fast. And there will be no way where the soul is back in the home for you to do that type of ritual. In the same way, all these different things are predicated around the form of Lord Krishna in Mukunda, but under the name Mukunda. You could accept any person with any type of history and you will keep them. You are truly the divine liberator of all. That is what that name means, liberator. In your prayer, start to use the proper names of Lord Krishna, but to up your game, use the names that you know the meaning of. In this jug, I have touched on Govind, I have touched on Keshava, and I have touched on this now, Mukunda. The features of the person is what the name is saying. Keshava, the Krishna had long curly hair, Keshava. Govinda, you are the protector of the religious knowledge, you are the protector of cow. So yes, I understand cow, but understand that Govind, when the person touched the head to the book, the knowledge in the book is what bring the blessing. From my electrical perspective, I'm touching something, the Murti, the Bedi, the book. I want the positive energy from this to get into my aura And if it is a health problem, a family problem, some form of discord, please fix it. Govind. So that is why that name is so popular, because it is very applicable to everybody's life. When Narad was finished talking and calling him by all these names and bowing to him, he wanted to go back where Yudhishthira. He tells him, I await you in the city of Indraprastha, where Yudhishthira is making preparations to go and conquer all the different districts. Please reach and be there to witness this moment. Yudhishthira told his brothers, which you go north, you go south, you go the extra. And he prepared his city for this big prayer. Krishna takes his time with his emissary of people, bringing gifts, things to give in charity, ingredients for the yagya. As a true friend, he brings all of these things. In the wedding ceremony till today, we still have this. When the boy is going on the girl's side, it is truly the girl's home and her prayer. But the boy walks with the puja material to help. If that side, let me just say they run out of kasaili, you know how the things go, or the cinder fall on the ground, we will help you in this way. We want to support you with palm leaf and flowers. We just do that till today. And he was doing it. He says, I am your cousin and I am your family, and you have this big yag. In case you end up deficient in any way, I have brought ample ingredients so that nothing stops your prayer. As he landed in that city after a long journey, many verses go on describing the terrain and the tumultuous road that he had to face. All the queens, Satyabhama, Rukmani, Jamwanti, etc., all of them came to see this Rajsuya Yag that Yudhishthira was hosting. When just before the prayer started, he goes where this Jarasandha is. Yudhishthira had tried to conquer all, and they could not beat Jarasandha alone. So Krishna goes just as Yudhava guided, go together with Arjun, Bhim, and dress accordingly. They went into the court, and because of how they spoke, their mannerism, Jarasandha realizes that these are warriors in the garb of prayerful people. Look at how their chest is high, and he looks at the marks of people that are filled with courage and that strength. Still, he says, what have you come in front of me for? What do you want? How could I help you? And Bhim says just what Yudhava told him to say. We have a desire to see you in your full force, but battle one-on-one with myself. I feel as if I would be blessed, so blessed, just to see you in your full glory fighting. And in this false humility, Jarasandha, knowing that they have to be some form of Kshatriya or warrior, he says, I will grant your desire. I will fight one of you, but not you, dark one, that's Krishna, not you, you're too feeble looking. The next one was Arjun. He's too pretty and too soft. You'll seem as if you are too young to fight me. But this lion amongst man, Bhim, because of his size, his body, you seem to be a fitting opponent for my fight. I am not going to fight any coward. When Jarasandha looked what he's calling the dark one, he had a hatred for Krishna. Because Krishna, he's calling him coward, because Krishna kills his mamu. His mamu is Kans. Kans is supposed to be an uncle. Mamu is uncle, mother, brother. Because of the history and all that went on, yes, we understand Kans was a bad man. But Jarasandha's perspective is, you were wrong for doing that. You should not have done it. And I despise you for it. And I am not going to dirty my hand. This is not the first time he says this. I am not going to fight you. Krishna doesn't argue with him. But Bhim takes off all the Pandit-like clothes, the Swami clothes that he had on, and they get into hand-to-hand combat. Let's hear what happens in this sloka. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah एवं त्यागर ये महाराज यधुयतुह सत्य ये वाष्टि दिनन्ये निरखतात्र सुदैवानीशी तृष्णाये आतम Namaste, namaste,
namaste, namo namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samskrita.
Ekadam matule dhyatam Veprahar rajaye krodhar नाशक्ति हम जारासंध्य निर्गुण तू यदुमाधवे
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता
नमस्तस्यै नमस्तस्यै
नमस्तस्यै नमो नमः या देवी
सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता. When they started the fight, that fight became very intense. No matter what, cuff, kick, to thighs, collarbone, it seemed as although Jarasandha is aged, he is harder than beam. And for a total of 27 days, they fought equal combat. When one pushed, the next one would pull. And like this, one could not overcome the other. On the morning of the 28th day of this battle, Bhim Sen comes to Krsna. And he tells him, O Madhava, descendant of Madhu, you are the only person who could help me here. I'm in a fight and I don't think I could win. I have power and I have strength. But dear God, I need you to make this fight easy. Let your Shakti, let your energy flow through me and allow me to overcome this enemy. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. You ever went to a funeral and saw the person struggling to move the box? And you hear somebody says, ask the person to make themselves light. It's really not the person you just ask. Time to move the murti. 12 o'clock in the night, for example, when you have Ganesh Utsav and you're doing the funeral of the murti. Meaning, let me say we had the entire 10-day period singing puja, etc. And the first part of that prayer is to bring life in the murti. The last night of the yag, when the moon is changing to close that paksh, the person has to do from 12 o'clock in the night. They do prayer to take out the energy. Now this is important and I'll explain why. Because we as Hindu people, let's do craziness. Before you move a murti, you have to do visarjan to take out the life. For example, we've been doing yag now, and because of the energy of that kalsa on the bedi, the person wants to decorate. You know, these decorating people they want to put and put, move, put this, whatever. But there are religious rules limiting what you could move. So the fire is one, the flags are the other, the kalsa is there. Because of the life in it, inherent in it, do not move it. In order to move it, you have to take out that jiv, the energy, the element. Do what is called visarjan. Dear God, I call you on the bedi and now I return you from whence you came. Then you could do your one, move. The murti of Ganesh Baba, Visarjan is done at 12 o'clock in the night when the yag is going to close. The next morning we are going to journey to river, fresh water, where you're going to submerge the murti. Remember, we're talking about the correcting, not the anything side of it. If you see somebody do anything, that does not mean it is correct. Right. When you move the murti from 12, you start to move. Let me just use here as an example. From the bedi, on the bedi, maybe somewhere where the tile meet the carpet. Then in the next hour, we come somewhere here. So we go in third step, fourth step. By the time we reach by the door, fifth step. 5 elements just came out. Dear God, thank you for the time to do your prayer. Please come out. Just like what you do in a funeral. When you take out the energy, now, lifeless mud, return it where it come from, and send it off. The crazy thing is, people is do the prayer, close it off, to close off everything so you could move it. But then have you ever seen where they reach wherever they're going and is potis in there, do a whole prayers, do everything on the body now before you throw it away in the water? If you ever seen the videos where people in India are discarding their Ganesh Murti, and it seems kind of crass that, oh God, look, they throw it off the bridge or whatever is the case. You know, people advertise our Dharma in different ways without understanding what is happening there. The person is saying, I went to the river bed where the mud is soft and clean to get mud to make the murti in the truest sense. So I'm simply returning this mud to Mother Earth where I get this dirt from. The problem with the pretty murtis we buy from India is they have plaster, barbed wire, how is it called? BRC, different things to mesh around that big belly to hold it from cracking. If how we do it in Trinidad with the solid mud, that doesn't crack because it have enough things to hold it. But when you put in plaster, truthfully, go on the beach where they're going in salt water, where they did not get the mud. You go to the beach for sand. So you didn't get mud in the sea water, where it is said you cannot do certain prayers because of the suds. It is unclean. Go and throw your murti, and in 2 twos the current brings it back out onto the shore. When it comes out on the shore, it doesn't melt totally. It is possible, but because of the current, it's very difficult. You just have to take a hammer, truthfully, and pop the belly and do all kind of craziness. That is why the people in India does throw it off a bridge for it to crack. Because of the material it make with, for it to slowly dissolve. When you understand the rules and what you're doing, like in this example, if you already take out the life from the murti and it's just mud, what are you bathing it with by the beach? Baba, we had extra sindoor. We had extra milk. All right. So that means this come garbage now, so just dump. When you look at the things we do, sometimes in fractions in prayer, are why we are living in trouble. And you wonder, ain't I doing prayers, ain't I doing prayers, ain't I going prayers, and still are not happy. But if we follow the rules of the prayer, then you would get the happiness that you're looking for. Remember, how you sow is so you reap. In this way, he has been fighting, and he asked, Bhim asked Krishna, help me now. Give me the energy. Put in the energy inside of me that I need. So in this case, just like in the case of the funeral, when you take out the different element, the body is now empty. So there is no soul in the body. People is talk all kind of craziness. Auntie Rose tell me in a long time, when the time for the funeral and the body come in the yard, well, you know, you had to carry the dead man inside the house because you don't want to see the house for the last time. Then the dead man had to take back the sindoor. But it had no soul inside the body, so who taking back the sindoor? They used to break the dead person finger. Hindu people are really crazy, you know. They used to break the finger, so the finger had a play, so he could touch the lady forehead. That's sindoor apart. You notice you don't see that again? Baba, you just do that if you're doing funeral? With the soul in the body. If you want, and what we just do backward thing. The lady putting back the cinder and they putting it in the coffin. I find personally, I say this, I personally find take off the wedding ring and put the Mangal Sutra and put everything he gave. Put it in the box and carry it. I feel maybe, you see, we just put all kind of different rules and put man-made thinking, and we get caught up, truthfully. But if we get to the text and what is right, it gets simpler. One, somebody see me have to go, and then your life gets simpler, truthfully. In the same way, Beam had a problem. He has a history of thinking he's the best and the biggest and the baddest. But Beam now makes the decision that I need your energy. So the idea of making something simple, making something light, making something flow, easy. Dear God, I have a yag. Don't let this food spoil. Let the partsad be enough. God, let me get through this wedding. I don't know what I could do with this hip pain. Who you talking to? Is not dead. Is not yourself. Is, in this case, this divinity called Lord Krishna. Just like what Narad sees, he is dancing in the kitchen, he is dancing in the living room, he is talking to the child. God are trying to do prayers, and this little child would not sit easy. Dear God, don't let nobody get dengue. Don't let nobody get a virus. Just let me get through to my prayers. Let me just overcome this so I could keep my celebration, my birthday, whatever is your plan. Who are you talking to? Narad Muni had the vision. Me and you, maybe we are so good to see it, but we believe in it. When you do it like this fella, you could be one of two ways. Be like Beam. God give you strength and give you ability, and he give you the average to throw salt in the pot, for example. And in the last episode, we were talking about how people offer food to the fire. In that example, what you're saying is, God, you taste it first, make sure it's good, bless it. Or you could be the type, man, don't worry, when my hand pass over that pumpkin, it fix. The God out the door. And in many cases, in many ways, that happens. Beam now, in his battle, when somebody beat you into submission, you could either get broken, give up, depressed, destroyed, done. Or you could just ask for help. Some days it will reach you. I just don't know what to do again. I have a problem. And maybe, yes, we all try. We try to rationalize. For me, I will pick up the phone and call Ian, my friend. I will call this man, brother, I have this problem, from plumbing to pain. I will discuss it with him. Let me try and sort this out. Let me try and find a remedy for it, what to do, how to tackle. Yes, and some days you really get through good, God bless you. Some days you know head to toe how to deal with it, how to handle it. Let me use the example of the funeral. Somebody died. How could God let this happen? Every day you're seeing little children going and parents get to live and watch that coffin. God let that happen? How do you rationalize that? Narad Muni saw him playing and tripping and doing everything. But when bad happened, that is God work too. The lesson is very harsh. But in the moment, you have to remember He in charge and not you. You could wish it all you want. You cannot wish yourself into prosperity or to save every single person around you. You could stand up in front of a dengue patient and you could wish all you want. If God does support that wish, you cannot wish that person to have what you want it to have. You could stand up by the lotto booth and say every mantra under the sun, to be quite honest. But until God allow you to choose the numbers or the numbers to choose you, whichever one it is, then you realize, am I really in charge of anything? In this way, Christian touch Beam. That's all he did. Touch him. Everyone was talking about why we just bow. Hindu people just do it, but they really don't understand why they do it. They bare feet to make contact with the earth and let the negative energy flow to Mother Earth. That is why when you're going and offer your diet, and no pundit, and no people, but a bare feet. Mother Earth, please take out the suffering, the negative, suck it out, grung off, as we say in electrical. Then, if you the Murti, you the book, you the Dialite, have that divinity, you're 100%, and I trying to stick my finger to get a little recharge, my phone is run down to 0%, I just put it on the charger, and I understand it taking charge from the wall. In the same way, dear God, I bow to you to physically make the contact so that the energy that is in the different sources of God, maybe you could give me a little strength to understand this stupid wife I have. I hate my boss, but oh God, give me the strength to be honest in my job. To do what you do is not easy. But if you approach it, every battle you're facing, to face traffic, to have patience with children, to fight. If you try to do it on your own, you might be fighting a losing battle. So the Hindu allows for that weakness to get spiritual recharge. We do it on a Sunday here. We do Hawan, and you see the person, I don't know if you ever do it, take the heat and pass it over your body, recharge your aura. It is a nice, simple method to go. If somebody says to you, why are you bowing to that pity, bowing to that Murti? Why are you doing with that grace? This is why. In this moment, Krishna touches beam and gives him, via physical contact, the transfer of a little bit of the power of Krishna. And with the power of Krishna, beam was able to fight and destroy Jarasandha. Vindravan Bihari Lal ki Jai. In fact, beam was able to lift this man that was so heavy and rips him into two now without effort. When he was destroyed from his jail, Jarasandha's jail, thousands of kings that were suffering in captivity came out, now freed, bowed their head to Krishna and pledged their allegiance to him. Thank you for saving us from hunger, starvation, sadness, and separation from our loved one. You have saved us, and for this reason, whether in the form of allegiance, in the form of taxes, in the form of dependency for protection, we are with you. We support you, and from today, you will be our leader. Everybody put your hands together. For this reason, as the kings prayed, they asked that may the energy of Krishna make their daily duties. When, let us put this in perspective, when parents have to make a judgment, should I allow the child to sign up for this school? Should I send the child with this friend? They want to go to the mall. What to do? There is no time a parent has to go to school to become a parent. The decisions that you are called to make every day don't give you forewarning. You don't have that preparation. God has to give you that divine knowledge, that help and that energy in that living moment to make the right choice. When you look at what you are able to do in your day-to-day life, it is amazing how this God truly works. That in your life, from an accident to a family incident, financial incident, and you are able to rise above it day after day. Dear God, in this moment, I acknowledge that I could only do it because of your presence in my life. When your energy is flowing from the earth, from the elements into me, you give me the confidence, the words, the guidance, the thinking, the interpretation, the patience to do it all. Namaste Deva Devasya Prapanyati Ratati Vyavam Prananata Pahinamna Krishna Nirvina Sadhago Sutta. Dear God, you are truly the shelter for the leader, for the head, for the helpless, for the hopeless. You are the person when I am depressed and I don't know how to tackle a battle. When there's various demons waging war in my head, in my heart, when my feelings and my emotions are ripping me apart, you are the only person I could turn to truthfully. and say what I feel and what I need, to empty yourself, and you are there to lift me. Lift me now. Continue to lift me and empower me. Without your energy, I am dead. I am hopeless. I am going to fail. I am going to lose. And I acknowledge that. Dear God, just as how Beam was able to grow in his devotion, in his need for you in his life, and because of that need, he was powered to destroy Jarasandha, this form that nobody could beat. Beam did it with your support. When there are tests, when there are demonic people, when there are demonic times, dear God, empower me to win. Evam Krishnadya Gabhidasya Dwarakanad Vichalatya Shriyam Kalya Tadaiva Bhavantu Krishna Swarupinam Nishta Kriparaja Karpane Smarante Nadvijayatvu Rajan Mritya Trishna Rupa Pitam Dehi 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 Shataval Rajan. Vindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. You know, sometimes we get so caught up, and as I'm concluding in this, we get so caught up because of what God gave us, the house, the car, the different fineries, the nice things. And I said it on our second day, that we start to identify. I'm a teacher by God's grace. I have an accolade of a degree or whatever it be. I'm a welder, I am this, I am that. And that becomes your identity. Let me use my own self. I'm a pundit, so I'm a pundit. I'm the best pundit. I'm the greatest pundit. And in different ways, people start to get it in their head. I'm the best singer, I'm the best cook. You know what I'm talking about. We all do it from time to time. We go through that phase. I'm the best parent when they now make children, the first child. Them alone know how to put on pampers and sterilize the bottle and boil the bottle. After that child, you don't see sterilizer and boiling water. At that time, you could give them whatever. And the same person kind of timmers down. And that timmering down happens in everybody's life. In the beginning, when you're now married, the girl is the best. The husband have to compliment she every time she makes sada roti. And as she get older, hot it in the microwave now, boy. It doesn't matter anymore. The little things we fight and bicker and bawl about, as the years pass, when you celebrate any example of marriage, you're celebrating on how much you grew. When you look at it, how much you grew. The things you was fighting and bickering and bleeding for, those things, I want peace in my life. In every Hindu prayer, when we are finished, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. If this life had a goal in it, was to become, in doing all my job and all my duty, that God who make me the father and the brother and the uncle and the friend, do your duty. But find peace in doing your duty. Do it in a way that you would find peace in the course of your day. Don't wait. Don't tell me, when I reach 65, I go have peace. When these children grow up, I go have peace. You sure about tomorrow? I remember again, throughout my reading, I remember in Komal Maharaj, Pandit BP's son. Too often, Pandit BP, who used to do prayers, teacher BP, yeah, it's his son who get kidnapped. Komal is his son. Just as Pandit Mohan from Sisters Road's son was murdered. And I'm just using two examples, not to say in any way forget all the other victims that we are surrounded by. If we are not careful, we go sing and celebrate, we knocking drum, ringing bell, and people are dying left and right around us. You're praying, God protect me, but you are in a fight. Work hard, children, study, book, get job, build big house, and become a target because of it. That's the reality you're living in. Many children today are not motivated to work hard. What's the point? What is the reward of all hard work and fighting to open a business? Only hear somebody call you, listen, if you want to live, if you don't want to rape your daughter, you need to pay a ransom or a protection. That is the world you're living in. There is not one day to come, there is now. And if you tell anybody anything, if you say anything, well, now we go do for you. So if today God gave you a peaceful day, nothing bad happened in your day, you are in a position where I could be grateful for today, or maybe Keshava stupid, they say, God, you didn't give me the lotto today. And you miss all he did give you. When you compare yourself, I'm sitting here and I'm studying. Komal is, yes, that's one side of that issue. The child get kidnapped, he's a young parent, etc. What about the parent? In this case, I know Pandit BP. His family then, the surviving person. What about them? How they must feel and how they must be. We went to invite, as I said every night, we went to invite Pandit Mohan and his wife, who is this, the lady is like peanut butter. She's soft and sweet, very nice. She came to the gate and she says, Priya, I never had guard dog, I never had a gate, I don't know how to open gate. Because they always had to open yard. They came into the yard and killed her son. And a different fear went into them. Yeah, somebody die and you forget the person, in time you'll heal, fine. But now, afraid they come back. Just as Mother Earth was begging Lord Krishna, please, you don't kill my son, do not kill my grand. Only a mother knows what she had growing inside her belly, and it's not my place to say how that feels if somebody comes and snuffs out the life. She says, I can't come the prayers anymore. Every time I have jug, they come. But because of this, they cannot come. Day or night, they are living in fear. You didn't have that problem today? In that perspective, let me ask you, how was your day today? Perhaps mine wasn't so bad. Good. Good. In that way, say your prayers. We're going to do Arti now. Thank you, Lord, for today. Simple. Thank you, God, for today. My day wasn't bad. Let's all stand. As we've come to the end of this session, I apologize for going over. For those of you looking on live, thank you for being with us. I hope you are enjoying your Bhagavad. Bhagavad is so named, remember, because it represents a text that by listening to the words of the text, the teachings, the memory, the history, a person is as if they are absorbing the body of Lord Vishnu inside of their frame, taking in good things to rid themselves of bad times and bad days. Dear God, today as we wave this light, as we say prayer, maybe I am not in a way fasting or prepared health-wise, unable, my hand shaking, I can't hold the terrier to do puja. But it says that when you come here for Bhagavad and you listen to prayer, you get the blessing as if you did the puja. So thank you for the opportunity to have listened to another of your discourses. Let's sing together, everybody. Jai Jai Bhagavat Bhagavan ki hai aarti, papiyon ko paap se hai taarti.
Jai Jai Bhagavat Bhagavan ki पापियों को पाप से तारती।
ये अमर ग्रंथ, ये मुक्ति पंथ, ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ, ये मुक्ति पंथ, ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही,
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही,
जग की मंगल दे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी,
सुख करनी है दुख हरनी।
ये मधुसूदन के आरती,
पापियों को पाप से तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जग पंद कोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जग पंद कोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही।
प्रभु की महिमा के आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती। भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से तारती।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी,
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी,
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा,
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी,
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी।
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी,
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा,
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
नाम शिवाय नाम शिवाय
नाम शिवाय नाम शिवाय।
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 नाम शिवाय नाम शिवाय।
त्वमेव माता
च पिता त्वमेव।
त्वमेव बन्धुश्च
सखा त्वमेव।
त्वमेव विद्या
द्रविणं त्वमेव।
त्वमेव सर्वम्
मम देव देवा।
त्वमेव सर्वम्।
मम देव देवा।
Om Shanti. Everybody. Shanti Hari Om. Together. Prem Savalo Mahapati Mahadev ki. Pawana Putra Hanuman ki. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki. Jai. Jai Jai. Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Please have your seat.